kind of this public spotlight in Jerusalem, in the public eye of all of the scribes and the Pharisees. Jesus kind of withdraws to the area that he calls home, Capernaum, where which is where Simon is headquartered. That's where he kind of takes up his headquarters while he was preaching in this 3-year ministry, in the 3 years that he is journeying from his beginning of his public ministry all the way to his death on the cross. And as he goes to place, people hear about his teaching. They hear about his proclaiming the good news. They say, we really like to listen to you, Jesus. That's in a sense what they're saying. The people were astonished at his teaching because he taught them as one having authority and not as the scribes. Clearly, there's a difference between the preaching of the scribes and the Pharisees. And most often, it's because their actions and their words don't match up. Because their actions and their words don't seem to coincide. And of course, in this particular moment, we see a theme which is in Mark's gospel a common theme. And that is the theme of demons encountering Jesus. And what happens? The demons encounter Jesus, and they simply can't be quiet in his presence. They simply can't just sit by and hope that Jesus is going to leave them alone. They immediately react. You know, when we look at the ancient word for the evil one, the devil, the term, in a sense, his name is Ho Satanas, right? It's where we get the term Satan, right? Ho Satanas. What does that mean? What does the word mean? It's always good to know what a word means so you can break it open and you can look at it. It means the accuser, the one who accuses and tries to convict another. That's what Ho Satanas means, the accuser. What is it that they are accusing Jesus of? What is this devil, this unclean spirit that is in this man? What have you to do with us? They're basically accusing Jesus of going to do something. Have you come to destroy us? Pretty accurate, of course, and a devil would never mistake what Jesus of Nazareth, the Son of God, the Messiah, the Holy One, was going to do. What was Jesus going to do? He was going to drive him out. He was going to, in a sense, remove him from his presence, and especially remove any sort of tie between this evil, unclean spirit and the person being attacked, the person being possessed or oppressed or harassed. Happens pretty often. Jesus encounters an evil or unclean spirit, and they are oppressing people he encounters. And he drives them out. He throws them out. He kicks them out. And of course, many people over the years have come to me and they've said, "Oh, Father, I think somebody I know needs an exorcism." And it's always an interesting moment. Very interesting. Not interesting in the sense of humorous, but interesting in a sense it's a very serious thing. It's a very serious thing that they come. Of course, they don't come to many churches to do that. They always come to the Catholic Church. I'm not sure what that means. I sure know what it means. They come to the Catholic Church because they're sure that we have some idea what to do with evil, right? We have some idea how to drive evil out. Since the very beginning of the church, since the very earliest days of the church, we've had rituals and rites which address and confront evil. But I find it interesting when I was seeing this about 10 years ago, I was studying this and learning more about it, learning more about evil and about evil spirits and unclean spirits and spirits which oppress people and spirits which harass people. And one of the most interesting things that I heard was from an exorcist, somebody who's one of the most famous exorcists in the world. And he said that while it is incredibly rare, it's very rare, it almost always preys upon the human condition. Evil preys upon our limitations, our weaknesses, our blind spots, you might call them, our temptations. Evil doesn't tempt us into things that we don't care about. You know, if our temptation is never towards food, the evil one's never going to tempt us with food, right? It's just not going to happen. We're going to be tempted by the evil one in something that we are weak at, some area of our lives that we are blind to, or something that we're not good at controlling. But he then went on to say that the most powerful people that he encountered that were powerful in casting out demons and getting rid of evil spirits and healing families of all the awful things that can happen to families. He said the most powerful people he'd ever met were families that prayed together all the time, that were so united, that were so in communion. Really, we understand that. You understand that word. Communion doesn't just mean that you've received Holy Eucharist. Partly that's part of the word. To be in communion, it means to be one heart and one mind and one purpose. He said the most powerful of all those that he encountered, all the groups he ever encountered at, in a sense, casting out evil, were people that were in communion, that were so focused on the purpose and the understanding of being community, of being one heart and one mind and one soul and one spirit in Christ, were the most powerful at casting out evil. And I thought, how does that apply to families? You know, there's probably not a single family sitting here that doesn't have some extended member of the family who falls under the influence of evil, whether it's by drugs or by addictions, whether it's by criminal behavior or just simply an anger which is so profound and lifelong lasting that they simply